Today we are digging into a topic that is, well, everywhere. Apple cider vinegar. You've probably seen it. It's one of those things that people either swear is a miracle cure or just completely write off. So we're going to cut through all that noise and see what the actual science has to say. So what's the real story with apple cider vinegar, or ACV as everyone calls it? Is it this amazing health elixir, a legit miracle cure, or is it just another wellness fad that's going to fade away? That's the big question we're tackling today. And believe me, the opinions could not be more polarized. On one hand, you've got the internet shouting these incredible claims. It melts fat, it reverses diabetes, it crushes infections, it'll help you live forever. But on the other hand, you have a lot of doctors and scientists who, at least at first, kind of rolled their eyes and called it a woo-woo treatment, basically just fermented apple juice with zero real science behind it. Okay, so to figure out who's closer to the truth, we need to get back to basics. What are we actually drinking here? What is apple cider vinegar? At its heart, it's pretty simple. It's fermented apple juice. But the real story, the potential magic, all happens during that fermentation process. This right here, acetic acid, this is the star of the show. It's the main active ingredient. See, first, yeast eats the sugar in the apple juice and makes alcohol. Then, a different set of bacteria comes in and turns that alcohol into acetic acid. That's what gives vinegar that super sharp smell and sour taste, and it's the compound that's responsible for basically all the health effects we're going to talk about. So, just how powerful is this acetic acid? Well, if we look at the pH scale, which measures how acidic something is, apple cider vinegar lands somewhere between a 2 and a 3. And to put that into perspective for you, check this out. Water is perfectly neutral, right at a 7. Battery acid is down at a 1. ACV is sitting right next door in that highly acidic zone. And this is a really, really important point. Remember this number, because it's going to come up again in a big way when we talk about how to use this stuff safely. So we've established it's a potent acid, but where does the science say this actually does some good in the body? Well, the strongest evidence, by a long shot, points to one area: blood sugar control. If there's one claim that truly holds up to scientific scrutiny, it's this one. And I'm not talking about some small one-off study. A huge meta-analysis, that's a study of other studies, crunched the numbers from 25 different clinical trials involving over 1,300 people. And the conclusion was pretty clear. Taking ACV can significantly lower key markers like your fasting blood sugar and your A1C. And the effect was even stronger for people with diabetes. But what does it actually look like in real life? Okay, let's make it simple. Picture two people, and they're both about to eat a plain bagel. That's a ton of carbs, so you'd expect a pretty big blood sugar spike, right? Well, without ACV, that bagel might send their blood sugar shooting way up. But if they had a bit of diluted ACV before that meal, it can actually blunt that spike, keeping it much lower. And that's a big deal. A smaller spike means you avoid that awful energy crash and those cravings that always seem to follow. It just puts less overall stress on your whole system. So how on earth is a little vinegar doing all of this? Well, that acetic acid is a multitasker. First, it kind of hits the brakes on the enzymes that break starches down into sugar. It also helps your muscles become more sensitive to insulin, so they can pull sugar out of your blood more easily. On top of that, it tells your liver to chill out and not pump out so much extra sugar. And, get this, it can even flip a switch on an enzyme called AMPK, which, fascinatingly, is the same pathway that gets turned on when you exercise. Okay, so the blood sugar evidence is solid, no doubt about it. But let's be honest, the number one reason a lot of people try ACV is for weight loss, right? So what about that and all those other huge claims? Let's see what the data says. So there is one famous study everyone points to. It's from Japan, back in 2009. And in that study, over a 3-month period, people who took vinegar every day did lose a little bit of weight. So how much are we talking? About 2 pounds. So 2 pounds over 3 months, it's not nothing, but it's not exactly a miracle fat burner either. It's more of a tiny nudge. And when you look at all the studies together, the broader scientific consensus is pretty clear. There's just not enough good evidence to recommend ACV for weight loss. And you know what? It's the same story for those other big claims. Does it fight infections? Well, in a petri dish, absolutely. Acetic acid is a great disinfectant. But there are 0 human trials showing that drinking it does anything for an infection in your body. What about longevity? Again, some cool results in lab animals like mice and rats, but we have no human data to back up any anti-aging claims at all. So let's say you've heard all that and you think, you know what? That blood sugar benefit sounds pretty good to me. If you are going to try it, it is absolutely critical, and I mean critical, that you do it the right way. Because remember what we said, this stuff is an acid. Here's the 4-step safety playbook based on what was used in the actual studies. Step 1, the dose. Stick to just 1 teaspoon per day, no more.
Step 2, and this is totally non-negotiable, you have to dilute it in a big glass of water. Don't even think about drinking it straight. Step 3 is timing. Take it right before a meal that has carbs to get that glucose-lowering effect. And finally, step 4, always use a straw. This helps it bypass your teeth and protects your enamel.
Which brings us right to the risks. That acid can, over time, seriously damage the enamel on your teeth. It can also irritate your stomach and esophagus, especially if you already have issues like acid reflux. And another really important thing, we don't have any safety data on using this stuff for longer than about 12 weeks. So, like with any new supplement or routine, please talk to your doctor first.
Okay, we've looked at the claims, we've looked at what's inside, and we've dug into the science, from the lab to human trials. So let's put it all together. What is the final verdict on apple cider vinegar? Let's just boil it down to the key takeaways. First, and most importantly, it is not a miracle cure. Point 2, its strongest, most proven benefit is a modest improvement in blood sugar control. 3, the evidence for weight loss, fighting infections, or helping you live longer, it's just not there for humans. And finally, if you do it right, low dose, diluted, with a straw, it seems to be pretty safe in the short term.
So, who should actually consider using this? If we're going strictly by the science we have today, the only group of people who might really benefit are those who are already working on managing their blood sugar. So, we're talking about people with insulin resistance, prediabetes, or type 2 diabetes. For pretty much everyone else, the proven benefits are, well, pretty minimal. And that leaves us with one final question. And this one is really for you to answer. You know the science now. It offers a small metabolic nudge, mainly for blood sugar, but it comes with real risks and a specific set of rules. So the question is that small benefit worth the potential downsides and the hassle of making it a daily habit? That choice is all yours.